Hello, beautiful friends. Welcome back. This is Turntable Currents. I hope everybody's doing well. Back to do another video of what I've been currently spinning on the turntable this last month or so. Um, Again, this is kind of similar to the last video, trying to ramp myself back up to doing these for one. But, you know, I get so caught up on, new releases and things that have come out that I've been listening to that I've decided also to put in the mix, pulling out some of these um, older albums in my collection, albums that I may have not listened to in several years because I've got so much. But I find it important to revisit some old friends, to make sure that I'm always constantly spinning on my turntable over here. That's why it's Turntable Currents, because that's kind of where I'm going with this of sharing what I'm spinning. Um, some of them are new releases, record store day releases that have been of the past. Some that I'm just now getting around to listening to. Sadly, I guess. But I'm getting around to them. I'm doing it. Of course, I've got my Nak Champa burning as always. I think that's always been a thing of my videos over the years. But it, to me, it's more of a spreading of the spirit, spreading of of my cause here. It makes me feel good. It gives me warmth, and it also smells good. So, anyways, that's why I do it, because I'm always burning incense. I believe incense and music, records go together. That's how I kind of grew up with my dad. But anyways, lately I've been wanting to listen to some blues, and so I've been pulling a few albums here and there out. Um, these are two that I was just listening to not too long ago, and this first one being a compilation. Excuse me. Um, this is a 16 classic blues songs from 1926 to 1937. So when I talk about the blues, I like that old blues. I like the recorded field music. I like electric blues, country blues, folk blues, Texas blues, Chicago blues, wherever the blues come from, Memphis, Mississippi. You know, it moves me. It speaks to me. It always has. And blues to me is not a color thing. It's not anything that only black people, only white people, Hispanic, or whatever it is, Latino. Um, it's for everybody, man. That's the blues. We all get the blues, and a lot of this talks about heartache, and but I feel it because I live it and I see it. But here's one that, like I said, it's called "Devil Got My Woman," and this is named after the Skip James song, but it's got artists Skip James, Charlie Patton, Willie Brown, Mississippi Sheiks, Blind Blake, Ida Cox, King Solomon Hill, Blind Lemon Jefferson, Ma Rainey, Papa Charlie Jackson, Blind Roosevelt Graves, Leroy Carr, Maddie Delaney, Louis Lasky, George Torrey, and again Skip James. Really great compilation. I believe this came out in like 15 or so, but it's on that beautiful orange and like sun colored vinyl. It's got good liner notes. Not liner notes, but art from the 78s that were released. And this is a 78 from the art from Skip James. So, this came out, or that song was a 1931 release for Skip James. And like I said, I love this old, you know, like Blind Lemon Jefferson, you know, all the way to what, you know, if there's current, you know, I like it all. I listen to it. I pulled this out, one of many that I have from this artist. I'm not sure. I think this is a 1960s release, early 60s. But this is John Lee Hooker, The Blues. Again, it's got some great songs on here. I'm in the Mood, Boogie Chillin', Crawling King, Snake, you know, among many more. But yeah, one of my favorite artists that I grew up on, and I've dipped further and further into his discography, and like I said, I have a lot. So the time was right the other day, and John Lee Hooker had to come out. Here's another one of my favorite artists, I guess. Owsley Stanley Foundation has been releasing some great archival material from the Grateful Dead, Doc Watson, Allman Brothers, and this one, Johnny Cash and June Carter Cash with the Tennessee Three. This is at the Carousel Ballroom, April 24th, 1968. The Bear Sonic Journals is the series, but you know, Cocaine Blues, you know, Rock Island Line, Long Black Veil. You got like This Land Is Your Land. It's got a whole June Carter melody. Jackson, who doesn't love that song? I Walk the Line, Ring of Fire, stuff like that. But I don't think Folsom Prison's on here. If I remember, yeah. Big River. But anyways, I love the art. I love these archived. I believe this came out in like 2020 or 20, I think. This released, the vinyl, I think, was 2021. But anyways, you see that, pick it up. It's great. What I like about them playing the Carousel Ballroom, as you know, if you know psychedelic music, that was a frequent of many psychedelic bands, the Grateful Dead, among other, Jefferson Airplane. So Johnny was in that mix as well. Here was a record day still released from this last year from one of my other favorite artists. This is Willie Nelson, the 1974 at the Texas Opry House. I try to get recordings from, you know, especially from Willie, but Texas things. I'm proud of the music that's come out of Texas, and continues to. But you know, this has got. This is down in Austin, Texas, of course. Starts off with Whiskey River. It has some earlier stuff like when he was more of a songwriter with Crazy, Nightlife. It's got Shotgun Willie, which is an excellent album as well, one of my favorite Willie Nelson albums. But I have a family member that remembers this show, remembers that, and you know, it's pretty cool. So this was a 2-night show, June 29th and June 30th, 1974. So if you ever see that, pick it up. It's got more of like a waxy, thick, you know, along with that Johnny Cash one. Switching gears, we're going back to my high school, I guess, or right when I probably was out of high school. Yeah, I'd say I was out of high school by now. But this is Dr. Dre, 2001. Just wanted to listen to it the other day. You know, a lot of you guys, you know, the Still DRE. You have the next episode. Forgot About Dre. I remember those are the 3 big ones. I have an eclectic group of friends as well, and we definitely listen to this a lot, driving around in these old big cars and getting into things. But yeah, this was one that I wanted to listen to the other day, so I pulled it out. This is my era of rap music was, you know, NWA, Beastie Boys, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, stuff like that, Warren G, stuff that was out when I was growing up and young. Pulled this out the other day. Gochimia. This is on Daptone Records. A lot of us that are familiar with Daptone think of the Budos Band, instrumental, kind of that African funk, you know, almost with the psychedelia tinge of the fuzz. This one is, this guy's a great artist, man. I've got probably, I think he has 2 or 3 album releases, if I can remember. And I have them, and then I discovered them on a Daptone compilation. But this has got a lot of like drumming, hand drums, congas, tablas, bongos, cajon, flute, you know, bass, you know, clarinet, saxophone, alto saxophone. But yeah, check this out. I mean, just a great album. I like that old die cut, you know, like they used to do albums. But great album, man. More on the Afro-Cuban, you know, side of the music. You know, ritualistic celebration, meditation music, which, you know, I live for. I pulled this out. This is a German press of Iraq. This is the 3rd album. Another drummer had a band, and it's more on the prog side of on Brain, but more on the prog side of the spectrum of the music. Do I dare call it krautrock? But it is in that vein. But jazz. So yeah, it was. I remember pulling this out on a Sunday, kicking back, drinking my coffee, and you know, getting to that. This is the only release I have from Iraq. That's how you say it. Here's a Record Store Day release that I was so glad to see was re-released. I believe this was in the early 60s, 1961 originally, I think. But this was an artist that early on when I got into percussion, drumming, I studied him. Another drummer, I got, you know, along with Art Blakey. You know, all these cats that, you know, would play like Gene Krupa. Yeah, Max Roach. This is Freedom Now Sweet. We Insist. This has got also Alan Tunji. If you know the album, a couple albums I guess he came out with, African hand drum congas. But yeah, this has got Oscar Brown Jr., Coleman Hawkins, you see Abby Lincoln, very spiritual, sign of the times, what was going on in this country, what was going on in the world, the civil rights movement, and just a brilliant album art cover as well. And these liner notes are, this is one of these revolutionary albums that was speaking, projecting out into what was going on. So if you see this, I've never seen an original out in the wild all my years, but yeah. Another Record Store Day, which is one of my all-time favorites. Miles Davis, live, Montreal. This is 7/7/1983. It's got John Schofield, Bill Evans, Daryl Jones, Al Foster, and Mino Canuli, that's what you say it. But another one I was excited to see that came out. I know it was delayed for a little bit, but I was patient, and just another great great addition to my Miles Davis. And I think this was on, no, I thought it was on blue, but no, it's not. It's a double album. Let's check that out. Going into this was released in time for this artist, one of my all-time inspirational artists that I really went through a big phase, you know, of course, this being the introduction. But Bob Marley and the Wailers. This is Uprising Live, a 1980 show. I believe it's in Germany. Towards the end of his life, this is a 3 LP special edition one for a 1980 show, and this was released in honor of his what would have been his 75th birthday. But just a great concert. Has an opening with the I3s with Rita Marley, and you know, I've got the orange, but I'm not sure. My uncle, he was German. He was he was stationed in Germany, and he did see one of Bob Marley's last shows when he was there. But you know, he was already ill when he was doing the show, and you know, it's got such uplifting and inspirational songs to me, at least. But yeah, it's just a fantastic concert, and this is such a great recording as well. And he does an array of early and current stuff at that time. But Natural Mystic, Positive Vibration, Revolution, I Shot the Sheriff, War, No More Trouble, Zimbabwe, Jamming, No Woman, No Cries, Iron Train, Exodus, Redemption Song, Could You Be Loved, Work, Natty Dread, Is This Love, Get Up, Stand Up, Coming In From the Cold, and Lively Up Yourself, and that Margaret chant. So, you ever see that? If you like, you know, Bob Marley, if you know, this was what introduced me as a kid to reggae music, and I have a whole lot of other artists, but you know, I always go back to Bob Marley because it just speaks to me, man. It's what I want to hear. This is an album, the newest album from some old friends, Black Angels. This is Wilderness of Mirrors. Came out, I think, last month, but really great album. You got 15 songs on here that I was happy to see, and they've always stuck to their logo from the beginning. I first befriended them back in 16 or 17. I think they had just released their second album, and I've seen them, you know, so many damn times, but it's been a while, been a few years since I've seen them, and then in a few weeks, their Psych Fest Levitation Festival that I frequented up till the last two, I guess. I didn't go to the last one, and I'm not going to this one. It's gotten real expensive and spread out, and so anyways, if you're down in Austin, check it out, and if you're in a record store, check it out. Wilderness of Mirrors, you know, it's got some cool art in there. It's subliminal, kind of see it, but anyways, this is, I don't think this was a record store, but it was a follow-up on one that I showed. I don't think this was a record store day. I think the last one I showed, but this is kind of follow-up to that one. And Rocky Erickson and the Explosives. This is Halloween 2, live 2007. So, you know, the other one was earlier shows, but you know, I had to get this, of course. Just came out. I can't remember if this was actually a record store day, but this is live from the Bowie Ballroom, New York City, April 15th, 2007. And again, you know, some great shows, man. You know, there's shows in here that are listed that, you know, from 2005, 6, 7, 8, 17 when he was touring. Some of these shows many of these shows I've been to. Met Rocky and talked to Rocky several times, and so of course more Rocky into my collection. This is the latest album from Santana. This one I had to listen to a few times. Again, it's not like his classic stuff, but what I like are the jams. You know, this is another one where he's got, it's not a bad album, but he's got a lot of those guest artists that he's continuing to try to do from this Supernatural days. But again, my favorite are the instrumentals of him and the Santana band. But this has got, you know, Chris Stapleton, Rob Thomas, again, Steve Winwood, Ally Brooke, Diane Warren, Corey Glover, which is a cool one, Peace Power, Kirk Hammett, and I think this has had the last recording of Chick Corea and his wife before he passed away. But again, this was I have much respect for Carlos Santana and the Santana band. Earlier the better for me, but I still love Santana. I was supposed to go to this tour, but you know, he had that mishap where he fainted, and you know, so next year I think it's coming out. And then this was a record store day around the same time, but this is these are songs that were from a certain time. And Splendiferious, again, this is kind of just a compilation. It's got, you know, it's more of a, I don't know, it's got stuff from some of the albums that you can't find on vinyl, or with one of my favorite being, which one was it? El Fuego or Hermes? But anyway, it's got, you know, Placido Domingo, will.i.am, Chad Kroeger, Seal, Citizen Cope, Tina Turner, Steven Tyler, you know, stuff that's been released. It was just it's kind of a weird compilation that came out, but it was something that he wanted to put out, and so more power to him, and more into my collection. So that was another addition. I'm trying to open these so you don't get the reflection so much. But here's a cool boot of, it's called Dark Side Over London. This was Earl's Court, London, October 20th, 1984, performance of Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd, David Gilmour, Richard Wright, Nick Mason. And anyways, I saw that and I picked it up. Another great show, and it's got a good sound. This was a record store day exclusive, Nico, and live at the Hacienda 83. It's not the best recording, I guess, but it's cool. It's a cool recording, and so I got this. Actually, this guy had it marked down to like 75% off all this record store day he had. So I paid $8 or $10 for this. I don't know, but you know, when these come out, you know, you make a list of stuff. You know, if you participate in record store day as I do, you make a list and then you start eliminating. But originally it was on my list, and I eliminated it. But good stuff. I mean, she plays, of course, some solo stuff, some stuff from Velvet Underground, even the last song, The End, Doors cover. So got that. There's a compilation I've had for a long time, but I had a friend over, so I played this one. Grateful Dead, Ready or Not. Again, just a compilation of live shows from like the 90s. Let's see, like 92 to 90. Let me see the latest show on here. 95 maybe. But anyways, it's got vents on keyboards, but again, a cool one to have on a blue vinyl. So Ready or Not, The Grateful Dead. This came out in 2018. There's a cool album by the Entrance Band. This is Prayer of Death. Again, it's got that fuzzy mid 2000s fuzz psychedelia blues. It's kind of more of a blues psychedelic album. Kind of not lo-fi, but you know, I think this came out in like 2006, 2005 or something. But again, I recommend that. If you ever see that, check that out. Again, Prayer of Death. I pulled this one out. Been listening to that Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell. This is actually the 2021 reissue. It's become hard to find out of print, as far as I know. And they're about to release a deluxe edition of this, and what's the other one? I think the one with the bed on the front. So this has got, of course, the original lineup other than Ozzy, but it's got Ronnie James Dio, another fantastic album. And again, like I said, this was the reissue, repress of that. There's a couple live shows. I found this one, I don't know, I remember when I got this, it was pretty cheap. But this is from Farm Aid 7, Neil Young and Crazy Horse, 1994. So it's got, you know, Down by the River, Country Home, All Along the Watchtower, Farmer John, and one of my favorite, Change Your Mind, the Sleeps with Angel album. This is around, I guess, that time. Big album to me when I was in high school. A lot of people didn't like for some reason, but it's raw, you know, crunchy Neil Young and Crazy Horse. So this is again New Orleans, 1994, Live Aid. So, these two are pretty cool. I'll open one of them because I got the same cover, but it's part 1, volume 1 and 2. This is Carlos Santana and John McLaughlin, I Love Supreme. This is like the volume 1 and 2. There was a Chicago broadcast in 1973, so it was, you know, Carlos when they did the Love Supreme album, the Welcome album, around that time, when Carlos was really getting into his spiritual side. But it's got Billy Colvin on here, Armando Pereza, I think Michael Shreve is on here, I believe. I can't remember. Larry Young. No, Michael Shreve is on Billy Colvin. I already said that, sorry. But anyways, I think they were playing like in front. They were just playing like out in the street or something, I remember. But yeah, volume 1 and 2, and these are both European presses that I found. I've been looking. I've only found one, and then I came across volume 2. So I definitely had to get those. I pulled this out just because I wanted to listen to it. Michael Jackson Bad. This is my original press back in the 80s. I was probably in 5th grade, I think, when that came out. I was a huge Michael Jackson Thriller. That was my very first album I ever got. And then I first got this on cassette, but here's my vinyl version of this. And I like to relive it, man. I like to relive it sometimes. And, you know, some great songs on here. Speed Demon, The Way You Make Me Feel, Another Part of Me, A Man in the Mirror, Dirty Diana, and then Smooth Criminal, among many other great ones. I think that's a great album. This is a Steve Miller Band, The Joker Live in Concert. When was this? This was 70s sometime. But he released this, maybe this wasn't the 70s, maybe this was more of a, which one am I thinking of? Thinking of another one. Well, anyways, 2016, he did the show of his album, The Joker. And so, and you know what? The Joker, out of all the Steve Miller, that's the one I don't have on vinyl. I used to see it all the time. I'd always pass because it wasn't up to And then I was going through a Steve Miller band phase not too long ago, and you know, that was the one album. And I now that I'm trying to find it, if I do go out and dig, I never see it anymore. So, you know, I'd like to get that. Here's the one that just came out, same day as that Black Angels. I highly recommend this. This is Creedence Clearwater Revival. They just released this on Kraft Records. This is the Royal Albert Hall show, April 14, 1970. And what can I say? You can go on Netflix, and there's the film of this on there, kind of a documentary, and then it goes on this concert. But man, what a fucking great recording! And it's just done right, man. I mean, Kraft Records. It's on Fantasy Records, but I've never been let down in anything I have. I mean, just the packaging, the liner notes, the sound. Stick. But if you're a Creedence fan, this is a good show, man. I mean, it's a powerful sounding. I don't know if it's soundboard or not, but it's great. So, and I hear there's a deluxe edition supposedly coming out. I don't know if it's this year or next year, but I may look into that as well. But another important band from my life soundtrack. So I got this when it came out, and I just, in the last month or so, I finally opened it and listened to it. Robert Plant, Allison, Krauss. This is Raise the Roof. Another great release, a compilation, or not compilation, but collaboration with them. You know, the other one being Rising Sand. But yeah, this is one of the various album coloring that they came out with. So this has got 2 extra songs on here. So I believe I got this. I got a Target one because of the extra songs. That's why I bought it there. But yeah, check it out. I mean, Robert, he still has his voice. I don't know. I think I missed the tour. They came here, or they're coming here, but I think I missed it. But if you ever get a chance to hear this or see them, check it out. Here's one I pulled out. So a few months ago, I guess. I was going through. I wanted to listen. I was listening to A Day of David Bowie. This is his VH1 Storytellers show that he did. And it's got some great songs on here. You know, Life on Mars, and you know, China Girl, Rebel Rebel. Just some good stuff. David Bowie. It's got a film on there. And I think that's all I'm going to do right now. It's getting pretty long, but hope everybody's doing well. Again, hope you're on the right path and life's treating you well. As always, take care, and I'll see you on the flip side.